So today we had sequential SMT, making the high of the day, right? Which usually happens. Sequential SMT is usually the cause of like major reversal points, right? This is the NASDAQ. I'm pretty sure everyone can see my mouse right now. This is the NASDAQ, this is the S&P 500, and this is Dow Jones. As you guys can see, the NASDAQ fell way more than Dow, and the same thing occurred within the price section of the S&P 500. Right, I believe that I've mentioned this before, but whenever you see sequential SMT, right, you want to pay more attention to the assets which fail to break above the high, right? You don't want to pay much attention to this one because these will fall more. This will always happen. So if you see sequential SMT, right? Say tomorrow or Thursday, between Thursday this week and Wednesday, right? Then you would want to trade the weaker asset class, which would be these, right? This asset failed to break above New York's high. It's weak. This one failed to break above New York's high. It's weak. This one broke above New York's high. Then this is showing you strength, right? This will fall, right? But it won't fall like these ones, right? And let me put some lipstick on. So remember I taught you guys about the revolving true open, which is this open right here on this candle, right? We had price trade up into it and failed to break above this high. Amazing. I showed you guys this, this is like the third or fourth example, I believe. And, I've just been talking about this for like less than a week now, I believe, right? So yeah, we have this one break above, it traded above the revolving true open, failed to break above this high. This one traded above it and broke above the high at the same time. So like, what would like be the, your tipping point? What would like tell you that, okay, now I should be entering. Now I should be looking for a trade. What would that be? What would like, tell you that, okay, price should not go above this high. And if it goes above this high, then I'm just wrong. I'm stopped out. You got to be using risk management, right? Nothing is perfect. But this, like what you're seeing right now on the screen, this is right. Like, I don't want to gas this too much, but like I'd say over 75% of the times, right? This setup, this what I'm showing you right now, this isn't even the full setup. This is just like the framework. This is just the piece of time that you apply to other setups to make them stronger. So you can see that over this right here, this side of time, before 12 p.m., this is the New York session, right? And this is the afternoon session. So remember, New York or Q3 must form a swing high or a high, right? And then break down going into Q4, right? Following, Q4 must trade above the revolving true open, which is the difference or the opening price of Q4, right? So price goes above it, fails to break above this high. I'm just saying this again, I need you guys to understand. Price goes above this one, fails to break above this high. But here we have SMT, where price breaks above this high while going above the revolving true open. So say price is here right now, right? You're like literally here, and this has not formed yet. Right here, you will be looking over here to see if price is above this high. Whenever price breaks above this high and it's revolving true open, right? You got to see if price is above this high. Is it? No. Is it? No. And this would be the candle. If we're going to talk about this one, right? 1305. And this is 1305. So right here, you could go short here with your stop above this high, not expecting it to go above it. Right? And I remember afterwards, price was around here. I tweeted it. Not tweeted, my bad. I posted this in the group. Right? And then afterwards, what happened? It broke lower, came back into this fair value gap, and then up to now, it's been going lower. Right? So this is actually, it's crazy, right? The SMT between Q3 and Q4. Another thing. And another thing that you would like be looking for is you would like to see Q3 expand, right? As it should do. You want to see Q3 expand, or form a larger range than what, Q1 or Q2 did in the day. So we had Q3 expand, and this, before Q4, this was the larger range, right? So Q1 and Q2 formed a smaller range than this, and this overextended. After this, if you see Q3 form a larger range than Q2 and Q1, you can expect Q4 to form a larger range than Q3. And whenever I give you guys, the actual model, it will have like which time frame to use or which cycles, stuff like that. Don't worry, you'll get that whenever we move to the next group, which is going to be this week, I'm pretty sure. So here again, you can see the sequential SMT between, right, which forms within the second half of Q3 and within the first half of Q4, right? Write that down, that's important. Some of you will like not pay attention to that, but everything I say is important, right? So now, when we look at we look at the higher time frame, you can see how badly the Nasdaq fell, S&P 500, right? S&P 500 took out this low, Nasdaq took out this low, which would be a shift of market structure, right? If we're actually looking at price properly, and failed to take this one out, right? Tomorrow we have CPI, and you can, by just looking at price, you can see that this seems to be farther than this high than this is, right? So this seems to be stronger than these two, which is actually the case. So if tomorrow we have price take this out and, fail to take this high out and fail to take this high out, that would be sequential SMT again, right? But another one, which I will introduce, are you following? So tomorrow we want to see what happens at 8:30. Will price even get to here? Will price just drop, right? We just need 8:30 to pass, and then whenever we see an imbalance, then we just take a shot. So here, this high was taken out. This high was taken out. Also, this high was taken out here, but here we had SMT, which caused price to fall. Looking at the higher time frames, we have lows here, which would be a draw on liquidity. We have lows here as well. I did identify these lows, before price traded about this high, which I expected it to go below this low, but happens. You're wrong sometimes. So if this candle closes, forms a gap here, then we could expect price to trade within this candle and continue below here. Right here, where we have a lovely swing high being formed. We have lovely, relatively equal lows below these lows. We have the swing low here as well. If you look at the daily time frame, not much to see here, right? But CPI will give us a clearer view of price. Usually, whenever we have like Q1 drop like this, then we usually have price. We usually have price return to the straight about 50% of the range, which would be like around here. Trade about the 50% of the range and then continue to fall. So yeah, so far, yeah, I'm not expecting this to just be going up forever. We need SMT, right, to initiate the downtrend that I'm looking for. As you guys can see, right, even though I remember right here I wanted to see price lower, right, and I don't mean just like barely go low. I mean like actually taking out lows like this, but it went higher. But that's just what trading is, right? You're not gonna get everything correct, right? I was right for the first couple weeks, and then got last week wrong, which is okay. I don't feel any way at all. That's just how it is. Don't win all of my trades. No one does. Even if you're really good, you're gonna lose at least like 15-10% of the time. So sequential SMT between Q3 and Q4, that will be the base of the model that you will be learning, right? And it will have specific time frames for specific cycles. And as long as you follow the rules, you should be able to find setups. A lot of you will be posting, and I'm pretty sure afterwards, trades and so on, as many of you have already been doing so. But like some of you need me to actually tell you exactly what to look for. But some of you can make your own models already, which is good. But everyone's different. Everyone picks up information at a different speed. So we'll be getting into better things than this, of course, but this is actually already like, how much times have you seen this failed? How much times? Right? And I'm being specific when I talk about that. So I'm like using the New York session, the afternoon session, using Wednesday and Thursday. How much times have you seen that failed? Right? Not a lot. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. So yeah, that's it for today. And we'll be back Wednesday, right? Tomorrow, if there's a clean price action, then I'll obviously be posting in the group. That being said, have a wonderful afternoon.